Brett Young, left side of leaving right here on Penn's Peak Radio's Morning Lifeline with me, Bob Matthews, and I always get excited when these two young musicians come into my studio, and it's Porter and Sayles joining us here on this Wednesday, Hump Day, Hump Day Wednesday morning, and Christian Porter, Regina Sayles here with me today, and always good to have you guys back. And it's not that you haven't been busy. I know that life's been crazy busy for both of you over the last, 3 or 4 months. Well, what am I saying? You guys are always busy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So now you're gearing up. Let's start off for where you're going to be right now. Coming up this Sunday, you guys are going to be opening up. Eli Young Band did it last year. Steve Mokler did it last race, and now you guys are going to be opening things up for the big Pocono Raceway Gander Outdoor. I always messed up. Yeah, Gander Outdoors. I always put the S on Gander and make it Gander's Outdoor, but Gander Outdoors 400, and that's coming up here at Pocono Raceway, and you guys have to be really, really excited about it.
Yeah, we're super stoked about it. It's definitely a first for Porter and Sayles to be playing Pocono Raceway. For them to have us was such an honor, and to be in our backyard is the coolest thing in the world. You know, we've known about it, we've been there, here or there, but to be playing on the track and performing for X amount of people in the stands, and we're also going to be singing the national anthem. Like, it's going to be a great day on Sunday at Pocono Raceway.
Yeah, and the weather, actually, from what I'm seeing, it says only a 20% chance of rain. So, I mean, you guys might luck out.
This weekly weather has been scaring us a little bit, but it's looking good for the weekend.
I'm not a fan. I got to be honest with you. I'm just not a fan of humidity. It messes up my hair. But but my mom always used to say to me, my mom used to live down in Jupiter, Florida, right? And I would go down to visit her, and you get off the plane, and you're like, and your clothes would stick to. I just hated that feeling, right? The humidity.
India, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, my dad's from India, and, like, you think you've experienced humidity here until you go there. It's unreal. It's like...
You want to shower as soon as you get out of the shower.
I told him, I was like, when you go there, like, you get out of the shower and you put your clothes on and you feel like you need another shower. And my dad moved to Florida because he's like, oh, the climate's more like India. And I'm like, why would you do that to yourself?
Well, some people really, I have friends of mine who love the humidity. They love it.
No.
You know, my one friend who married a woman from Greece, he's actually going to move over there in the next couple of weeks to be with her permanently. And he says, I just love the weather. I love the humidity. I love the heat. I'm like, I'm just not into it.
No.
I like our 4 seasons here. Like,
Me too.
I'll deal with the humidity here and there, but I like what we have up here.
My favorite time of year is once you get to about Labor Day, and right after Labor Day until Halloween. That period, September, I love it.
It's a perfect time.
That's the reason I still live up here, is because of those 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know what it is. Allergies sometimes will kick in a little bit, but I can put up with it just because it's just so beautiful, and it's football season kicking off, and high school and college football, and I get pumped up for that, and in professional football. So it all kind of comes together, baseball playoffs, and my Mets aren't even close to being in it this year, but, what are you going to do? But that's a fantastic time of year,
Yeah.
Now, listen, real quick. I didn't know this, and I've known you for, several years now, but I found out that you were a soccer star, and then you end up coaching, a soccer team. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you were a soccer aficionado.
Well, yeah, before I got into music, I loved sports, especially soccer, and I loved art as well. Like, I was always an artist, but yeah, soccer, I thought that might have been a passion or a career for me. And then in the past couple of years, while we had off time between Porter and Sayles, I would coach my old high school soccer team. And we made it to districts the one year that I helped
Notre Dame, East Stroudsburg.
Yeah. And man, I love the atmosphere of doing things like that.
Yeah. Well, people don't realize. I mean, soccer and ESA Bank and Trust, one of the sponsors of your appearance up at Pocono Raceway.
Yes.
Gary Olson, really close friend, and one of the nicest and probably one of the most down-to-earth, honest people I've ever met in my life. He was a really good soccer player in his day, locally, in and around the Poconos, and then he played in a lot of men's leagues, and he's been over to see the World Cup in Europe. He was an outstanding soccer player and still played, I think, competitively up until maybe a year or two ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's in great shape, You punch Gary in the stomach, he still has those abs. He's in good shape,
Let me remember that the next time I see him. I'll just
be
like,
thanks for sponsoring
Bob
Pocono
Matthews
Raceway.
told us that we should give you a punch in the stomach.
Let him know what's coming, though. But yeah, Gary loves soccer. Huge soccer
that's
soccer
awesome.
fan. So yeah, it's something next time you guys
Well,
get together.
maybe when we go sing at the FIFA World Cup, he'll come along and help sponsor.
How cool would that be, right?
Yeah.
How cool would that be? But so were you surprised that the U.S. didn't make it into the World Cup? U.S. and Italy both missed the World Cup
Right.
this year.
I love soccer and I will watch it all the time, but I'll be honest with you, I lost interest a little bit this season with FIFA World Cup just because of
US
that
wasn't in-
situation.
yep.
Yeah.
I watched it a lot. I love soccer too. I grew up playing. We didn't have a girls team at my high school, so I played.
Oh, you didn't?
So I played with the boys for 2 years, and then it was in the same season.
I
as-
could see you kicking
as-
some butt out there too. Yeah, you're gonna mess with me. Bam, shoulder
Yeah.
shoulder into the ribs and stuff.
But I love soccer. When I went to Spain on a vacation a couple years ago and made it a point to go see FC Barcelona play, and you have not seen soccer until you see it in Europe. It is unbelievable. No alcohol in the stadium.
Oh no.
No, they don't sell it in the stadium.
So hold on.
Because people
so
are
they
crazy.
get right. I was gonna say so they get that crazy without alcohol.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was like, I mean, I've been to a World Cup game when the World Cup was in the U.S. in 90 something. My dad took my brother and I, and it was amazing. But European fans are like, they're crazy. They're like our NFL fans. That's how I
Like
would
Eagles
put it.
fans.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But it when you go down and you're watching play soccer in Bolivia and Brazil and down in those South American countries, and then like you said, over in Europe when you have all the teams in England and then in Ireland and Germany and France and Italy, they are like the word fanatic. That belongs with those soccer fans. They're fanatical. I mean, an own goal, poor guy from Brazil was getting death threats. His family was getting, and it bounced off his shoulder. It was an accident and went into the goal and ended up, tying, and they lost in extra time. But the poor guy was getting death threats.
There was a guy that year in the 90 whatever World Cup that was. There was a Colombian player that kicked a defender that kicked his own goal and he was killed.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, soccer is just life.
Over
those-
a lousy soccer
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
I mean, not lousy, but for those people, like you said, it is their life, and it's amazing, like the culture and how big soccer is worldwide, like football, NFL football is here, and college football and high school football in the United States, but it's a way of life over there. People live and literally die for it. And well, remember, was it in England when they had the riots several years back? There was a controversial loss, and it wasn't World Cup, but it was like a big tournament. Maybe it was a European tournament, but they had a riot in the stadium, and people were trampled, and like
Oh, I
17
vaguely remember that.
people
yeah.
were seriously injured. A couple people died, and it's just like, wow. And like you're saying, I mean, the alcohol outside, but inside the stadium, they're not drinking, and they're still so fanatical. And,
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of drinking on the way to the stadium
Right.
for sure.
Yeah, Ireland, known for that. But I was kind of disappointed to see France win. I'm not a big fan of France. I really was pulling for Croatia. I wanted to see the underdog win. And,
Right.
and I thought England was going to win it when they got it. But then a lot of surprises in this year's World
Yeah.
Cup.
Yeah.
Russia did really well and everything else. So, all right, I digress. So, two soccer stars in here are also tremendously talented musicians. And you guys basically put together a new song
Yeah.
for this event.
Yeah, so, a couple months ago, we were sitting in our office and writing some music, and we had a few other tunes, and there was interest about us playing Pocono Raceway, and it just kind of sparked something in us that we wanted to write a song about cars and driving fast and the inner race car in all of us kind of feel. And, brought some music to the table. We started writing some lyrics to it, and it just blossomed in this really high-energy kind of pop country tune. And when Pocono Raceway became even more of a possibility, then we were like, okay, let's do something about this. Let's actually record this, and let's go above and beyond what we've done in the past, because we've self-produced our debut album, and then we've been doing demos in our home studios. But this
Well,
was
people don't realize just how hard the two of you work, not only composing and practicing, putting together music, but to produce it, to promote
Right.
it, to publicize it. And then you have a manager now, Adam, who reached out to me about you guys coming on, and good guy there. And I thought you guys were going to be back at Music Fest this year, but you're so busy, you're unable to
Yeah.
be back there. So
yeah, we're trying to tour a lot. So, but yeah, everything worked out that we wanted to take this to the next level. So Regina found a producer. Ryan Hadlock, who is based out of Seattle, Washington.
Wow.
And he's worked with major artists like...
How'd you find a guy in Seattle?
Well, we just started looking at other acts that we really like. We really like Vance Joy and the Lumineers and Brandy Carlisle, and he's produced all of them. And so I thought maybe this guy would be a good fit, and we sent him what we had already recorded, plus the demo of this new song, and he said, yeah, come on out here. I'd love to work with you. So
Wow.
we flew out to Seattle for 4 days, and we worked in this very well-known, very historic studio. It's called Bear Creek Studios. Lionel Richie recorded Dancing on the Ceiling there.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Were there footmarks on the
Yeah,
ceiling?
yeah.
No, just...
And
it's a cool studio, too. It's an old-fashioned barn
yeah.
turned into a studio.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
And Soundgarden recorded Bad Motorfinger there. Like, there's been a lot of bands that have come through there. It's like a really popular West Coast studio. So it was awesome. And it's a total studio where you have the main room, the live room, and then the control room, and then they have a secondary live room. And there's actually bedrooms and a kitchen, so we could stay there. So we actually stayed in the studio for the 4
Like, we
days
weren't in
were
a separate
there.
house or anything like that. We're in the studio, so you wake up and you walk down the stairs and you're in the
And
control
you're at
room.
work for the day. It was so
Wow.
great. It was such an awesome experience.
Good vibes all day long.
And Ryan and his engineer Taylor, who was basically the main guy working with us on the project, they were both awesome.
Yeah.
So
they have a lot of knowledge when it comes to things like this. And when we presented the song to him, you know, this was a little bit more country rock than what they're typically used to. And he wanted to take it to a new level. And, you know, we're acoustic folk pop country kind of feel. And he's like, I hear AC/DC in this song.
we were like, what? He's like electric guitars.
Black.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Totally.
And then Eye of the Tiger was a little influence in there.
Wow.
The guitarist that he brought in had a little Jimi Hendrix feel to him. So when we put all these people together, we had this really cool chick drummer, and it became this really cool acoustic rock NASCAR vibe.
You guys have to send me one, and I can play it the rest of this week leading up to the race.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I listened to it, and like you said, I'm like, oh, listen to that little country feel in there, you know? And it's all of a sudden hear that country influence along with rock, and I like the feel, and I think it's going to work really, really well, up at the Raceway on Sunday. Now, do you guys play? How many songs do you get to play?
Well, Sunday we have a set. We start at 12. We play from 12 to 1.
Okay.
And we're going to have our whole band with us. So.
Oh, nice. Is Vinny going to be there?
No.
No. We're working with 3 awesome musicians from New York City right now, and they're going to come in and we're for the weekend, and we're actually doing a little block party show
Saturday, right?
Saturday, sponsored by Dale Earnhardt Jr. So we're going to do a
Yeah,
set.
how cool is that?
Yeah.
I guess he'd bring in one of his bands, too,
Yeah.
so you'll be
Yes.
playing with his band, and you two will be co-headlining that event.
There's going to be fireworks and everything. So that's on Saturday night, and then the big show for us is on Sunday because the stage is right on the racetrack. So we'll be playing right in the middle of it.
That's the coolest thing. And, I've been covering Pocono since the, early 1980s, and we were kids. We used to sneak up. We used to put jackets over the barbed wire fences and hop over the fence, and we'd see the old IndyCar races back in the mid to late 70s, and we had so much fun. Got to meet like the greats, Bobby Unser and AJ Foyt and Mario Andretti, and Johnny Rutherford, all those old time IndyCar racers, and it was so much fun. So I love Pocono, but then you saw how the track evolved and developed over the years, and when NASCAR really started to take off, covering it was great. So my point is, so I was in the pits and in the garage, but when you're actually out and you get to walk on the track and you don't realize how the banking is until you walk on the track, and you're like walking up here, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
You don't realize it until you're actually walking on the track, coming around the turns and stuff, and I was just so impressed.
Yeah, we had a really cool experience when we were putting out the single Buckled Up and Drive. We had a guy with an old-fashioned car.
Chevy Bel Air.
Yeah.
1963 Chevy Bel Air.
We went right on the track with
Is
the
that
car.
the orange one in the
Yeah,
promo?
in the photos.
It's
in the promo
actually
photos.
red. It looks orange in that
Okay.
picture,
Yeah.
but it's bright red. It's a beautiful car.
It's got the mag wheels, from back in the day. I used to build those model cars when I was a kid. Those were great
Yeah,
cars.
but we walked right on the track. Like, we see the burn marks. We see all the autographs on
On the finish line. Yeah.
Oh, there are?
Yeah.
I've never seen those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were like right up close and personal with it, and we did. There's a really great, actually, our photographer, Amy Blaskow Photography, we have a blog post on our website right now. You can check out the photo shoot from Pocono Raceway. It was such a cool photo shoot.
She's good.
Yeah, she's
a
awesome.
good photographer.
She's amazing.
I know that
I have a special interest.
Yeah.
That's one of Christian's favorite photographers.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
that.
Rightfully so.
But she seems like such a nice person too. You know, very humble, very down to earth, and very talented.
And anytime we have a show, can I come and shoot? Of course you can.
Yeah, exactly. And then you know, Christian will make her scrambled eggs with ketchup. You know, I remember.
No,
that.
his specialty is pancakes and bacon.
Pancakes and
Oh,
bacon,
okay.
that's
He makes
where
the
I
best.
go.
The scrambled eggs one. Remember we
The
were
song,
talking.
yeah.
in the
Oh,
studio?
yeah,
Remember
yeah.
The scrambled, you guys were singing the song.
Yeah.
I don't forget that stuff because I love scrambled eggs and ketchup. And
You
my
do.
wife's best friend, if we go out to breakfast with them, I can't put ketchup on my scrambled eggs. If I do, it makes her nauseous. So she has to like get up and leave the table. I'm like, listen, I'm not sacrificing my breakfast because you can't handle it. You can go sit at another table. But then I remember that, then I thought about when you guys did that song in the studio last time you were here, and that was fun. But yeah, I'll tell you what, it's just Pocono has really come a long way. I mean, and they've always done a great job. You know, the late Dr. Joe Mattioli and his wife Rose, who's still going strong. You know, they've done great things. But then when Nick and Brandon took over, now Brandon's with NASCAR, but Nick and Ben May are doing an outstanding job up there with so many other people, bringing in that all-inclusive, you know, play park, and then they have a quiet room for children with autism, you know, so they can come to the track and not get freaked out by all the loud noises, you know, from the cars and those kinds of things. So when you start doing that and you start really looking out for your community and people who have special needs and everything, to me, that takes you up to the next level.
Totally, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's great. And Ben was in here a couple weeks ago talking about you guys, and he's just like the nicest guy.
He is.
You know, laid back, North Carolina guy. It's like, hey, you know, easy going. He's got 2 little kids. I say, wait, buddy, wait till your daughter turns 18.
Yeah.
I never had 4 sisters. Nothing ever prepared me for that. But my daughter's getting ready to go to college this year, and you know, she's gone through that phase where
My little sister's going to college now.
Yeah, and my daughter's name's Rose, and your sister's name's Rose.
Yep.
So you must be like a Rosie going to college. Is your sister now starting to go into that like whiny phase, or is she pretty good?
I'm not going to say a word.
Okay.
Smart.
Because my
So
daughter
smart.
is just like, and always complaining and whining. We had a blowout with, you know, her and her mom and me the other day. We had a little talk with her. And like, honey, you got it made, man. You're living at home. You're not paying any rent. You know, we help you out. You're doing this. And so you have to work 7 days a week. Well, that's because you have a car and insurance and, you know, you pay for gas and you want to do things. And, you know, I'm like, your dad told you could have taken a break and taken 1 day off. But no, I can do 7 days. And, you know, and I said, I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be good. No, I'm fine. And then now all of a sudden she's learning. And I know this sounds awful as a dad, but it kind of makes me feel good when I go, you know what? Told her she want to listen. Now she's seeing what it's all about, you know. And it's not I feel good, but she's learning that life
It's
lesson.
life lessons. Yeah. No, it's all good.
It's all part of it. And you'll be a dad one day, and you know you'll know,
geez.
and you'll be like, Regina, can you help me out, man? Because can you babysit? So, but anyway, okay, we'll be back with more. I love talking to you guys. We'll be back with more great stories and things like that coming up in just a moment here on Penn's Peak Radio's Morning Lifeline. Porter and Sayles, Regina and Christian in the studio with me. Always love to have them. Too talented. I mean, and Christian, you know, Regina's a lot younger than Christian. Christian looks young, but he's really a lot older. But we'll talk more about that when we come back right here on Penn's Peak Radio. Ryan Kinder from 2017, Still Believe in Crazy Love, right here on Penn's Peak Radio's Morning Lifeline. Bob Matthews, joined by 2 of my favorite people and young musicians. Porter and Sayles joining me in studio. And good to have you guys with me. And busy. We'll be playing Saturday night up at the Pocono Raceway as part of the big block party. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., you guys get to hang out with Dale Earnhardt.
I hope so.
I wonder if his wife and new baby will be there.
I don't know. It'd be cool if we
The
got to
baby's
meet
so
him.
cute. Oh, my God, this baby's adorable. But that would be really cool if you guys can hang out with him, co-headlining that night. And you guys have a new tune. And you can talk a little bit about that and preview it as we lead right into that song.
Well, like we said before, we went out to Seattle, Washington, and recorded a new race-inspired pop country kind of tune. It's all about the inner race car driver inside of us. And
Did you ever drive a race car at Pocono? Did you ever
No, and I want to really, really bad.
I mean, I feel like I have because I've had like at least a dozen speeding tickets in my life. So
I got 3 in one day.
I got one when we were driving to Ohio for a gig a couple months ago. I was like in the worst mood then. Then Christian and Adam, they took away my driving privileges for the rest of the trip. I had to sit in the back.
I didn't take it away.
How fast were you going?
I was going like, I think 81 in a 65.
Which isn't, like,
It's not
don't get me
awful.
wrong, you should never speed, but it was a little excessive the way they approached it.
Yeah, I was so mad. It was like a $200 ticket.
Wow.
It was not cool.
Was the reciprocity because it was Ohio? Was it in Ohio or in
It
Pennsylvania?
was in Ohio.
Okay, so you didn't get points against your license in PA?
No, it was just a fine.
I think some states, if you don't pay the fine, there's reciprocity with the Pennsylvania where they will put points against your license then.
I'm lucky because I've lived in New Jersey and Ohio and Pennsylvania, but it seemed like whenever I would get tickets in other states, my driver's license was not for that state, it was for another state. So I ended up not really having points on my license. I feel like I sort of cheated the system in a way, but yeah, so I identify with this song on a very personal level.
Oh, all right.
And
Well,
we do say that you have to be buckled up and
Buckled up,
drive.
but
So
you
you
should
can
be
drive
buckled up.
fast, but you got to stay buckled up and be
Yes.
safe about it.
Wear your
But,
seatbelt.
yeah, this is the inner race car driver out inside of us. It's called Buckled Up and Drive. It's the brand new single. You can get on iTunes and Spotify.
and we're going to play it right now. Pedal to the Metal, Regina and Christian Porter. I like it. You guys were talking about that country rock feel, and you can feel it. I heard a little, like you said, a little AC/DC.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the Eye of the Tiger part, though.
It's in the first verse. You have to
It's
listen
really
very
subtle.
Yeah,
Okay.
There's a lot of subtle, pulls from different songs in there.
Okay.
But yeah, we had so much fun recording that, and the producer Ryan Hadlock, he did a fantastic job on directing everything and making sure everything sounded good with Taylor behind the board. And yeah, it wasn't about trying to make a perfect song or anything like that. We just loved the vibe and recording out there, and I'm sure we're going to go back there for more. But this was one of the best experiences of recording a song, and just the energy in the room. They all knew what we were going for, and they wanted to make sure pedal was to the metal, and we just blew through this song in a nice hard rock kind of feel, but staying to our acoustic roots.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what I like about it, and you guys have to get pumped up and excited, like when new things happen and you're making new music, it's so much fun. I mean, you have your standards, and, I have 4 or 5 of your songs on my iPod when I go to the gym and stuff. Some of my favorites, and Christian played it, and I always thank him. He always says stop, but he, gave up his day to come down and play the cocktail hour at our wedding, and some of my favorites, and Christian played them for me and my wife. And I still listen to it. I still love those. And I'm sure you guys, when you play them out and stuff, it's fun. But then when you get to play something brand new, you get that little extra energy. Right?
Totally. Yeah, we're super stoked to play this at Pocono Raceway this coming weekend, and with our full band and some little backing tracks. It's going to be so much fun.
And we should mention to everybody that's listening, for the week, in honor of the Pocono Raceway gig, if you go to our website and you click on the banner, you can download the song for free for the week.
Only
nice.
for this week.
Only for this week.
Okay, I'll
So,
have to do that.
yeah, if you want to go, if you want the song, you can download it for free. All you do is click on the banner. Right when you go to our website, there's a little verbiage on the right-hand side that says, click here to download, and you click it there, and you can download it for free.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And the fun thing about that song, are you guys going to, I probably shouldn't spoil the secrets, but are you going to do it as your finale song, or are you going to do it in the beginning?
You'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, you'll have to be
Well,
at
you
the
could do it this
show.
way. Listen, not that I'm telling you guys are professionals, but maybe do it early on, and then at the end, do like a little reprise at the end, and, bang in a couple
Not a
of,
bad idea.
right?
Reprise, man, that's the way to go sometimes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
It's a lot of fun. No, it's going to be a fun, high energy show. Maybe a few covers that you might recognize in there, but it's going to be so much fun. We're going to be running around the stage like crazy people.
Yeah, we're leaving the ballads home for the day. We're not doing any slow tunes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We're really just pedal to the metal the whole.
You're just going to rock,
Yeah, we're
rock
going
it
for
out.
it. Totally.
But that's got to be fun for you, too. Just go up there and just open up,
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Like they do on the race course. You're going down that front stretch, you're
Yeah.
going 200 miles an hour. Same thing. You're up there playing 200 miles an hour. Bam.
Yeah.
Go for it.
We'll make a pit stop for water, and that's it. We'll come back out.
We actually played at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for Laconia Bike Festival this year, and we had 2 of our band members with us, and we were so pumped for the show that we blew through our songs a lot faster than we expected. And we were like, oh man, we were getting to the end of the set and we were like, we got to add a couple songs in right now because we were so high energy. So we made sure for this show, we're like, in case that happens, we have a lot of songs prepared.
Well, you have the back of your set list.
Yeah.
Like when you guys play and you have your set list, right? You're looking down and all of a sudden if you're in like, a really good mood or like you said, the adrenaline's going, you're pumped up, you look over at Gina and go, let's not do that song.
All the time.
Oh, we do it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then sometimes we'll run out of songs because we skipped a few.
We're like, oh, let's go back and get this one again.
But it's got to be fun, and like I said, I was listening to an interview with Elton John when he was just before he came to the PPL Center to play several weeks back, and he was saying that people don't want to hear any of his new stuff. They want to hear all the classics. They want to hear Yellow Brick Road. They want to hear, what's one of my favorite Elton John songs? I'm trying to think. There's, so many. And now I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah.
Saturday Night. I love that.
Saturday
I love
Night's
Saturday Night.
But people want to hear the classics. And he's like, he'll start playing new music. And all of a sudden he sees a mass exodus, people getting up to go to the concession stand or go to the restroom. And he's like, really? So now he says he sticks with his classics because, the guy has how many classics? How many number one songs and millions of albums? Same with Billy Joel.
Right. Yeah, and now we don't necessarily have classics, but there are some fan favorites that we make sure we play at shows and, leave some of the ballads at home for certain shows. And then there's other shows where we get to play more of the ballads and people are listening and they enjoy the ballads a little bit more. But yeah, it definitely depends on the show.
Like last week we played at the Blueberry Festival down in Bethlehem, and we have one ballad. It's a kind of a sad song. It talks about just a relationship being over. And Christian asked me afterwards. He said, "Did you see there was a girl like during that song that was like crying?" And I was like, no, I didn't even see that. So it's kind of good to play them sometimes because they have a lot of emotion wrapped up in them.
But it's the reason we do what we do is to connect with people on a further level than we think we know.
Yeah.
But when you like to just like in the evil side of the devil angel, the devil side, you stop in the middle. You go, listen. Suck it up. Fuck up here. Come on. Stop your cry. You know, it'd be fun to do that. And
I think we do that by bringing out another song after that song to make sure we pick them back up and keep the show going. Yeah.
Well, good. God, the poor girl. Yeah. Breakups are tough, man. Breakups are tough.
Yes,
and but here's listen, and I brag about my son, but he's just such a chill kid. His first love was dating this little girl for, a year and a half, right? Madly in love and everything. So it turns out things started together. They weren't spending as much time together. He was busy. She was busy. He was working. So she started seeing some other little guy, right? So he finds out about it. He texts this kid and says, "Hey, dude, what's going on?" And the kid's like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know," right? So anyway, they break up. So a couple of days go by. I'm like, "How you doing?" "I'm good." I'm like, "You sure you're good as your first?" "Yeah, I'm good." "You want to get back?" "No, it's over." She wants to make that decision, fine, her loss. And it's just, but legitimately, not just, but he really felt that way. He's so even keel, and my daughter would be the other way. You would be trying to talk her off a ledge, but he's like just really just this chill kid, and you're talking about the young girl that's in the crowd crying and stuff. And so, but that's what music is, though. Music reaches right through.
Yeah.
Touches the heart or gets you pumped up or gets that, your brain, your cortex going and you're all like fired up.
Yeah.
But that's the greatest thing what you guys do. No other reward. And again, you guys as good as you are, you'd play for free just because you love it so much. Maybe not now.
We try not to.
Unless it's for a really good cause. We both are down to
No, I'm
play
not saying, but just
causes.
how much you love playing in the music. Sometimes just love what you do.
But it's fun connecting with people, and especially for this weekend, having Buckled Up and Drive being not only a high energy tune, but more specifically about racing. I think not only is it going to pump up the crowd, but it's going to pump up us.
We actually tweeted it at, there's a younger female driver right now, her name's Natalie Decker, and we tweeted it at her, and we were like, "Hey, we think you should add this to your pre-race playlist." And she tweeted back, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to, I really love the song." So,
oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, if a race car driver likes it, then we must have done something
right.
It's really good, and it combines both of your strengths, like your vocal and you're playing and you're coming in and it's a really good combination. It's a really good song.
Yeah, the original writing of it, I think I was on melody, and then the more we played with it, it just felt more rock and more powerful with her taking the melody and me doing some harmony work.
And even when we went to Seattle to record it, Ryan, the producer, said, "I feel like you're not you're not at the point of your voice where it's really pushing. He's like, and we ended up changing the key of the song.
Oh, no kidding.
We actually put it up a half step or
Either a half or a whole step.
A half or a whole step, I don't remember. And then it took on kind of a new energy when that happened. It was great.
Right, and you can tell. I mean, it's just from the time it starts, it's boom. It just pulls you right in.
She said when she was recording the vocals, she felt like Mick Jagger.
I felt like Mick Jagger.
Really?
I really did.
Did you move like Jagger?
I did. I was because I was all by
Jagger.
myself in this big, huge room, and especially at one point, Ryan, the producer, had said, I feel like there needs to be some of these background vocals. So there's a breakdown section, and it's kind of like who is the vocal, and I did. I felt like Mick Jagger, and I was all,
you
dancing
got
around.
into it.
Yeah.
Isn't it cool when you like it's kind of like an out of body experience. It just kind of like takes over, and you become, like you said, somebody else. You become like, oh man, it's like an animal.
There's like that. There's a break in the song too, where it's like a mandolin kind of solo-esque thing, and it was just the energy in the room. It's like Ryan said, "What can we do here?" And I played it, and he's like, "I like it, do it." And it's just when you're in that vibe and you're feeling it, like.
The creative process, man. The creative process just takes off, and it goes in all different directions. And before you know it, you created something that was totally not what you came in with that mindset.
And from the way that it started to the way that it kind of evolved, it was like there was AC/DC mentioned, there was Led Zeppelin mentioned, and I've always been like female vocalist wise.
And Survivor, Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
And female vocalist wise, I love Jennifer Nettles, and at one point I felt like it was a little bit of Sheryl Crow even too. So just to feel that evolve, like before we got there, none of that was even in our brain, and then to sort of have that arc while you're creating it was really, really cool.
And if you're really listening to her melodies in one of the verses, she sounds just like.
He thinks I sound like Jennifer Nettles, like a little country.
I'm gonna have to listen back very closely. Now that you guys give me all these little insights.
Well, it was just a really cool, high energy experience that we enjoyed so much, and I mean, timing is everything, and we talk about it all the time, and it was meant to be that we were supposed to write the song, go out to Seattle, record with this guy, play Pocono Raceway. It's going to be so much fun. And then to continue with the song after Pocono as well. Right. We hope that people just take this song as a high energy kind of tune, and maybe NASCAR wants to use it in commercials. Like,
that'd be cool.
You know?
Get a little royalty. All right, so now closing out here, just tell people where you're going to be after Pocono and where they can contact you to find out your music and your tour schedule and all that fun stuff.
So as we said, this weekend is Pocono Raceway. Saturday we're playing Diller and Her Junior Block Party, and Sunday we are playing the pre-race concert from 12 to 1 along with the national anthem. But then after Pocono Raceway we are playing West End Fair.
The Philly Folk Fest. And then we're going to be doing a short tour out to Ohio in September. Actually, we're going to be playing Rockwood Music Hall in New York City. That's on August 23rd.
But all these shows, you can go to our website, porterandsayles.com, and see where we're going to be at, and also check out our music and the new single. All of our music's on iTunes. It's on Spotify. Check it out. Share it with your friends.
And I totally forgot to mention randomly, if you have any friends in the Boston area, we're going to be playing in Somerville, which is just northwest of Boston, on August 6th.
Yeah.
Cool.
But all in all, I mean, we have to thank ESSA Bank so much for making this weekend possible for us.
ESSA Bank and Trust, they sponsor our show too, and we really appreciate Gary and the rest of the gang out there and branches all over the Northeast and, even down into the Philadelphia area.
They hold my mortgage, so I'm
we
cool.
have to.
Well, they own my personal loan, my checking account, my wife, and my joint account. And, if ever there's an issue, we call them up. The customer service is phenomenal.
They're great, yeah.
Really good people. So Porter and Sayles, not only a terrific musical duo, even better people. Check them out. Go to porterandsayles.com, and you will not, I repeat, will not be disappointed.